So here we are, we're at Gigg Lane for Shrewsbury Town away at Bury. The date, the 26th of August 2002. A game, and we got a quote from Stuart Dunn, and he said, a shambolic defensive display from Shrewsbury. This one's going to be interesting. And you were at this game, Gwyn.
Yeah, I was at this game. Yeah, it seems like, again, a long time ago. A year on from the last time we did one of these commentaries for the football club, obviously in 2002 now, aren't we, as you just said. So, yeah, the start of quite a poor season, Ollie.
Yeah, it was. So we're the fifth game into the season. So, yeah, how would Town sit in the league table after just a few games, but just give context of how we'd started?
Yeah, well, considering what went on this season, we started quite well. We were fifth at this moment in time after, I say, 4 games had been played. This was the fifth. We beat an Exeter 1-0 on the opening day, lost 2-1 at York, then beat Southend 3-2 away, and then had just drawn 1-1 with Rushden at home the week before, with Joe missing a late penalty to win it. So, Town were definitely on form. Bury were obviously not doing so well. They were 17th before we kicked off, but it was obviously early in the season, and it looks like we are about to kick off, Ollie. So, yeah, the red kit, mate. Big fan?
The red kit. Yeah, not a bad kit. Yeah, I like that. I like we always have different away kits. And Bury in quite a classic shirt. I think that's the birthday shirt, isn't it? With a birthday sponsor on the front. A nice sunny day. Nice straight line there, I can see. And we're off.
Yeah, this is the August bank holiday, Ollie. So there was quite a lot of Town fans there.
Oh, we go. Ball straight out of play. It's a theme, isn't it? It's a massive theme when we do these commentaries and these time machine podcasts, that the ball goes straight out of play in the old football.
Ball retention didn't seem to be as good as just hoofing it forward, did it? I think, Ollie, we need to start here as the game develops with just running through what the Town team is and what we think it is, and we'll see how it develops.
Yep, so who did we have? So we had Ian Dunbavin in goal, Andy Thompson left back, Mickey Heathcote in central defence with Matt Redmile, and then Leon Drydesdale playing right back. So we've got Lowe starting on the right wing here, Tolley and Atkins in midfield, and Ian Rowan on the left wing, with a dynamic duo of Luke Rogers and Nigel Jempson up front.
Yeah, and we did, for anyone that hasn't listened to it, we did do one of these on the season previously when Town won at Plymouth on opening day, and we did say that didn't really show the best of the Luke Rogers-Nigel Jempson combination, did it? And I think it's going to be nice to get another view of this, knowing kind of some of the stuff that happens in this game. And also, we did lament some of Matt Redmile's defending, so we might get to see that again, because, as you say, Stu Dunn called some of this shambolic. But Mickey started well there, shielding the ball, nicely done.
Yeah, good. But yeah, nice to see some of these familiar faces. Ian Dunbavin, good player, good goalkeeper. I thought for Shrewsbury these days.
He had a lot of mistakes in him, didn't he? But he was only, I suppose he was quite young, wasn't he, early on in his career? Never really went stratospheric for him, did he?
No.
But he wasn't great across this season. Let's be honest about it.
No, I don't think anyone was, to be fair. So he was 12 as Dunbavin, so he was 22 in this game. Obviously we signed him from Liverpool, where he is actually now. Interestingly, he's actually a goalkeeper coach in the youth academy at Liverpool now.
Oh wow, I didn't realise that. Yeah, I knew he was still in the game, but I wasn't sure whether he was at Liverpool or not. Leon Drysdale, I thought he kicked that straight out of play. That was alright. He was obviously starting off in his career now. This was the point where he probably got the biggest run of games this season. Obviously didn't go so well with him, but and it's so early in the season we hadn't quite got to the put Carl Murray at centre back problem yet, but I think he might come on in that position later on, so we'll have to see. But I'll just run through the Bury team as well, because there are a few familiar faces in there. Not that you can make it out on this footage, it's a bit better than last time though. So in goal is Glengana, and then we think they're playing 5 at the back: Colin Woodthorpe, James Stewart, Lee Unsworth and Danny Swales, and then Steve Redmond, Martin Forrest, George Clegg, and we think Terry Dunfield in midfield, and then John Newby and Powell Abbott. So yeah, 2 familiar names in Terry Dunfield and Glengana.
Cool. Yeah, going into this game, Glyn, can you remember what your hopes were? One thing that's kind of worth noting about the Shrewsbury Town lineup is there is 5 over 30-year-olds in the team, including a 36 and a 35-year-old. And it's an old team, that's worth saying. There's 2 35-year-olds, I should say.
We've just watched this in Woan corner. He did have decent delivery. Heathcote's got up there, but not quite
good clearance from Garner.
Yeah. Decent. So, in general, what was my hopes going into the season? Well, I was reading the programme for the next home game just to get a view of what the season was going like, and the home programme for the first game of the season. And Ratcliffe was very much like, we almost missed out on the playoffs last season, and we're going to go for it again here this season. And obviously it went completely the wrong way. But yeah, I think that we will go into this season fairly good spirited after how last year had gone and kind of building on what we'd already had. It was quite a thin squad. There was 3 injuries of sort of first team players.
Not physically thin.
Well, but beyond that, there was only really youth lads like Chris Murphy and Danny Marsh. So not the biggest squad. And again, it's something that probably came to cost us as the season went on, I think.
Yeah, I always find it quite interesting looking at this squad. And obviously we know what happened this season. But in terms of having so many old players and so many young players, there's only really Matty Redmile and Ryan Lowe who are anywhere near their mid-20s. So yeah, it's a bit of a concern. But not a bad start from Shrewsbury. Decent left cross from Ian Roan, fine Jempson in the box. Decent delivery. And then Lowe offside there, pushing on from right wing.
No, not too bad. I mean, just to go on the players we were missing, I think this is probably not as a depleted squad as we were looking at in that last game we watched. But Sam Aston had knee ligament injury. Terrible defending. Rodgers.
Not very good control from Rodgers. Oh, this is embarrassing. There we go.
He's got it. Feed it in. What's Drysdale got? No, he's not going to cross it. See Rodgers working hard for the team, as he always did. Win something? Is he going to win something? Not quite. Yeah, got away with it there. Nice to see that. Good bit of early pressing from Town. In terms of players we're missing, however, I was just sort of talking about it. Sam Aston, like the last game we covered, had a knee ligament injury. A different knee ligament injury because he got back from the game against Plymouth last season, played his part in the previous season. Then on opening day, did his knee ligaments again, and he didn't actually come back into this team until Boxing Day, which is really frustrating because I wouldn't mind it. Yeah, I wanted to see Aston have a game in one of these. Steve Jagielka, again, played the season before, but he was also had some knee ligament injuries, and he came back in November. And then Pete Wilding was not anywhere around. He only wasn't on the bench. I don't know why. He didn't seem to be injured, but I'll bring a good Pete Wilding story out later on as we go on, because it is a cracker.
So not too bad a start from a Shrewsbury perspective. Shrewsbury struggling with the offside rule.
A little bit. That's never really changed, has it, to be fair? I should just say I went to this game, Ollie. I didn't mean to mention that, but it was bank holiday, and we took a fair few up there. But the crowd was awful. I mean, it probably isn't worth us lamenting Bury's situation much more, because it feels like you're kicking a dog when it's already dead. But the crowd today, I'm just going to scroll down to it, was 2,866. And it was the second lowest crowd, that their averages was the second lowest in the bottom tier at that point in time. I mean, we were not much better, but we were still getting more than Bury. And this was all, again, just on the verge of another one of their financial disasters. So there was quite a lot of a build-up. Priest was their manager now, who obviously was played for them for a long time. But within a year and a half, they had to let him go due to cost-cutting measures. So, they were just about to hit another one of their crises, are they? Yeah,
probably the first real one they had, wasn't it? And it's where they got the nickname, that unfortunate name, which we won't say.
The Bucket Shakers.
It's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, nice to see Jamie Tolley play. A player that came nice. It's always good when you have a young player come through who's got a lot of pedigree, and the fact he's in the under-21 squad for Wales. It's quite rare for Shrewsbury to have a player as a youth international, especially one of our own.
Yeah, and if you just say now, this is around about the time where he got his first call-up for the Wales under-21s, I think. Him and Darren Moss at the same time. Moss was another player that was out, was on the bench in this game, but didn't start. Comes on later on, but yeah, it was really good. I remember being quite proud of getting internationals, because we didn't really ever have that many internationals when I was growing up during the 90s, and so even to get Welsh under-21s, it made me feel like we're a big club whenever that happened, and yeah, it'd be good to see.
It's always nice in Football Manager because you had that under-21 symbol come on the side.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Long ball by Bury.
Long ball.
Easily. Yeah.
Did you see notice that they've got centre halfway flags? They had a halfway flag down, on the other side, on the near side to us, which is a bit odd. But,
this is probably the best Bury's pitch has looked in the last 19 years, to be honest with you.
Well, it's probably looking quite good now, but
well, true enough, yeah. Bury are in. Oh, cleared off the line.
It's a bit of a sign to come now. Can't see open too easily.
Looked very static there, but yeah, clearance by Heathcote, that I think, but Redmile left for dead, I think, as they attacked, and yeah, it's concerning early signs. We did ask for a few people what they thought about this game, and we've got a few recollections from Busy, but one of his number one observations was that their striker, John Newby, I think that was him just running through there, absolutely ripped us apart as this game went on, and it looks like he started in pretty good form anyway. Short corner.
Good ball into the box. Oh my god, that's diabolical defending. 3 players free there.
8 minutes in, 2 big chances for them. Oh dear, not the greatest. And it is interesting reading bits about this, and it's probably worth reflecting on some of this in the second half as things develop. But the post-match comments from Ratcliffe, which we might get to as we go on, were pretty scathing of the defence. And one of his biggest problems, Ollie, about this whole performance was about communication. And I think we might see a very big lack of communication. And I think it's an issue that he said, we were really happy to have some training pitch time this week. But it isn't an issue that seems to ever get fixed, the communication issue all season, because they just seem to stop talking to each other and seem to stop playing for each other as the season went on and the results got worse. But maybe we'll see little signs of the reasons why it went the way it went, as this, just from this game as a microcosm, really, I guess.
Yeah, and it's a bit, it was obviously concerning that you had so many experienced pros that couldn't communicate. But that says something about recruitment, doesn't it?
It does a little bit. It does. It probably tells you a lot about the dressing room and the vibe of it. And we briefly talked about what was going on with that room.
From central forward.
Was it Terry Dunfield?
I think so.
Might have been, yeah. Terry was having his first season really as a sort of slightly older pro. He'd come out of Man City's youth team, Ollie, and had been offered a contract by, I think it was Noel Quinn was their manager at the time. I could be wrong with that. I did read it before. And he turned down Man City to go out and play regular football. So he was, I'm glad he went on to have a good career, because that's the sort of thing you wish young lads nowadays would do, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we're seeing it a bit more, I suppose, with the loans that we get. But yeah, so he went out and he did quite well for them, and obviously moved on. Where did he go after that? I did write this down before. Let's have a look. Yeah. He left there in 2005, so 4 years he was there, and then eventually came to us in 2009, where he had about 2 years, didn't he? And was poor in the first year and quite good in the second, and sort of turned everybody around, didn't he? I remember that. Yeah,
he's one of those players that turned the fans' opinion around. We were lucky to get away from it there. Redmond nearly gave away a penalty, and we were lucky enough to get a goal kick. I noticed in the boots, this was the Predator period. So there's quite a few players of Shrewsbury who've got Preds on. So you've got
classics.
You've got Mark Atkins. I noticed had them at kick-off, and here's Gavin on as well.
I'm sure a goalkeeper really needs Preds, do you?
Keep that a little bit further, Glenn.
Oh dear. Did you ever have a pair of Predators, Ollie, when you were younger?
No.
They were quite expensive, weren't they, when they first came out?
Yeah.
I remember that. I wasn't like
nearly
Preds.
got them.
Yeah, I did have a pair eventually, like when I was a bit older, but not when I was. Well, I suppose it was. What was I now? 22 now. Yeah, maybe I did have them around this time. I suppose. Yeah, I've been out a while. Fact of the day, Ollie. Leon Drysdale is now a fireman, so he might stop a load. Oh, Jello.
Not a bad.
Should have done. No. Oh, shame it was. I remember our expression, the amount of expression he showed in that last game we covered. I'm looking forward to seeing that again, to be honest with you. Yes, I was talking about going to this game anyway, and about the crowd. Yeah, it was bank holiday, and there was quite a lot of town fans there. And I remember it being a really good atmosphere, actually, despite the fact that there wasn't a huge amount of people in the stadium. I think as this game goes on, you might be able to hear the town fans chanting, particularly in the second half. So that was good. But there's some good stories about town fans were there that day. But again, we need to wait for the right time into the second half to bring that out.
So yeah, 11 minutes in, Bury with a couple of good chances. Shrewsbury not so good. I don't think we've actually passed the ball to each other, or is it all just long balls?
Yeah, I think we're still in that let's go direct era, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're not got any teams trying to play. So even then, Atkins.
That's a massive hoof.
Atkins was better than that.
That's a good ball for Rogers. Yeah. There we go. That's why you have to wait, don't you? When you see a big hoof, you have to wait to see where it goes. Good run from Rogers.
Skill.
Oh, not bad. That was a good bit of play, actually. Not bad. That was good. Just shows you that's what Rogers is all about, isn't it? Running at defenders and getting a shot off.
Yeah, that was the best bit of play from Town this game so far. And then Lowe somehow drifted across to the other wing. Decent shot over the bar. But yeah, better. I was just trying to look then as Tolly ran past, whether he had his frosted tips like Dave Edwards did at one point, but I don't think he's quite reached that point yet. Not gone for the really bad haircut.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Glenn. Where would Dave Edwards be here? He'd be coming through the youth system, wouldn't he? He'd probably be maybe a YTS or something like that.
Well, I remember we interviewed him, and he got his debut the last game of the season, so he wasn't in. He was actually in the youth team. Would have been. Did he say he was in the first year when he got the call up?
Yeah,
he did. So
he was,
first year of his 2-year sort of youth deal. So he would have been involved. I think he said. Didn't he say he got involved with the team from about Christmas time onwards? Didn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, he would have been sitting watching these games like us as a fan at that point in time. He could even have been in the. He could even have been in the away end for all we know. I guess he probably did. He did go to a lot of games, but yeah, he wasn't far away from making his debut really. So there we go. I'm just trying to think of some other interesting things I read. What's it about Glenn Garner? Yeah, so he played 126 times for Bury in the end. And then, do you know where he went in between us and Bury? One club. Do you remember where he was? Where we signed him from?
No, go for it.
Leighton Orient. So yeah,
okay.
so he played for them and then eventually came to us in 2007, 2010, and he only played 45 games for us. Never really established himself at our club, did he?
No, he didn't. Did he play many games in his career? I always find it quite fascinating looking at players and looking at Andy Thompson. I always find it fascinating when you get a player that plays over 500 games.
Yeah,
he always says that you've had a good career there.
He did play a lot of games for other clubs, but just not for us. I think he was quite old, wasn't he? Well, not old,
35 in this game. He only played 16 games for us this season. And he played most of his games. He was interesting. He played for the Baggies, then he went to Wolves, where he played nearly 400 games. Then went to Tranmere Cardiff, came to us on loan, and then signed for us full time in this season. There he is now, taking a throw.
Yeah, I remember he was one of the first ones where you really started to notice his legs going quite quickly in this season, I think, as it went on, because he was proper old, wasn't he? And I don't know what the connection was in bringing him in. Maybe he just was local from having been at Wolves, I suppose.
Yeah, he was born in Featherstone and stuff.
Yeah, so maybe he just saw it as a sort of last chance to play quite locally. But yeah, he didn't play enough games for me to sort of remember him that fondly, to be honest with you, because he played in one of the worst seasons we've had since I started supporting Shrewsbury. But it'd be quite interesting to see how he plays in this game. Drysdale's been sort of quite active. He's got forward a couple of times, played a couple of nice balls. I always quite liked Leon Drysdale, but I know he let us down a lot. But I don't know, I quite liked him when he was younger, and he was because he was a youth lad, I suppose. That's what you just talked about, wasn't it? Come through our youth system, you wanted him to do the best, didn't you?
Yeah, he did. A lot of long balls. Oh, that's a good ball.
That's got to be a pen.
That's a penalty. There we go. That's a terrible. I was just about to say this game's dominated by long balls, and that was a good ball forward from Bury there. Dunbarton comes out. Didn't really get anywhere near the ball, did he? Just took him out.
It was class. That seems classic Dunbarton. Like I said to you,
he's moaning. What's he moaning about?
I have no idea. He'd make a few good saves, then he would do something horrific like that. And
so this is a classic.
So many games that season.
You spend 2.5 hours, whatever, on the motorway, and 15 minutes in, you give away a penalty.
Yeah, and it was right. I think we're in the stand behind this goal here. So I'm somewhere probably. I think I'm somewhere up to the right, as memory recalls. It doesn't look as busy as it did when we covered that playoff game when it was completely rammed. But
here we go. Which way is he going to go? Left or right?
You can commentate this over.
And there he goes. And he saves it.
Decent save.
Good save. Redemption.
Quality that.
Redemption.
Yes. Redemption. Oh dear.
It's a poor penalty that is from Clegg.
Yeah, it was a nice height, wasn't it, for the keeper?
Yeah, good height. That's what we're saying. Good height for the keeper.
Yeah, who was that? Clegg, yeah. So I think he was another young lad. Like, we talked about Josh Walker last time. I think Clegg was one of those lads.
That ball was Barrington. That's got to be a foul corner.
It was. Well to see. I think he was another lad that came out Man United, wasn't he, and wanted to play games and ended up at Bury, had a reasonable career and never did too much, to be honest with you. That guy taking photos is not really paying attention, is he? There you go.
There we go.
Get ready, lad. Push the liner out the way. Oh, hello. Something's happened here.
Oh, he's broken his flag. That's embarrassing.
Oh dear. There's not a lot of hair between them two, is there?
No, no. This is obviously pre-shaved. Shaved head.
Just go shave.
Fashion of the day, yeah.
Oh dear.
Here we go.
Oh, there's another bald man bringing it on.
Yeah, there's a style, isn't it? There's a style to this set of.
It seems cruel putting them three together as a team. I think you might be something.
He's got a hair island.
It's my hair island.
Yeah, it's a reference to Atletico Mints.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, this is. What are they chanting? The town fans were chanting something then. Couldn't hear. Stato, it sounded like. That was a 90s reference from, what was it?
Fantasy football.
Fantasy football, yeah. Could have been shouting Stato at someone.
Over. There we go, the town fans.
Just a lot of empty seats. That stand is massive, isn't it, to be fair, at Bury? Which is what made that 2009 game so good, because it's a massive away stand, and they had to give us all of it. It doesn't happen too often, that, does it? Like MK Dons, that playoff game, we only had that bloody temporary stand behind, and it wasn't. Is that me? Is that me, Ollie?
No, it's a blonde lady.
Keep looking. I blonde down as a kid, Ollie. I was 22 at this point, so that doesn't really count. What else we got? Yeah, I might as well do the Pete Wilding story now. So he had been playing quite a lot this season. But on the Wednesday before this game, Lee Kendall was our goalkeeper, and he's on the bench in this game, but he apparently wasn't so fit because Yeah, basically the following week there was a warm-up game, a reserve game, and Lee Kendall got injured in the warm-up, and Pete Wilding played in goal for the whole game, and we even won 2-1 with Moss and Ian Stevens scoring. So we were talking in that last game about Pete Wilding playing in goal, but he seemed to have done it quite regularly between this and reserve games and actual games. So yeah, maybe he was just tired from doing that, Ollie.
Thin squad in those days, weren't they? Really did have a small squad because you just couldn't really afford it, could we, with such a low income? Good effort. Ooh, not a bad effort from Tolly.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, he did. I always think Tolly should have done better in his career. I know he did well for us, but yeah, obviously he had his interesting move, let's put it that way, to Macclesfield. But I always think he could have done better, and it's always, as I said a bit earlier, it's always interesting to look at how many games players play. And when you get to those 500, 600 kind of level, you know you've had a good career, but you never really got that far in terms of his games. He played only a few hundred.
200 odd, yeah. It was weird, wasn't it? I do agree. I mean, you look at his career, and his peak was when he played for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was that. I mean, Maxfield, Hereford, Wrexham, Mansfield, Kidderminster. It doesn't strike you as the lad moving too far away from Shropshire.
Well, he was put non-league in 2000. So 8 years after this game, he was playing non-league for Wrexham, who were in the conference at this point.
Yeah. I think he just, maybe as a hometown Welsh boy, he didn't want to move to none of those clubs other than Mansfield, where he was only there for a short period, were that far away from the border, were they? So maybe. But he did a job for us in most of the games he played for us. He was never a stellar midfielder, but kind of was one of those lads that didn't let you down too often. And again, got a lot of credit for being a youth lad.
Yeah, he was a good engine as well, especially when you're playing on 2 in central field. You need that, especially when you've got Mark Atkins next to you. Good control from Rodgers. That was nice ball. Interesting, you've got Lowe there, who's obviously played up front a lot in his career. As a nice link-up play there from Rodgers and Lowe.
We look a lot more dynamic, and
we look a lot better than the Plymouth game. Yeah. Oh, that's a bit sloppy.
I think it's because you're not playing Pete Wilding on the wing.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes a huge amount of difference. And I think that Drysdale, for all his limitations, was quite pacey and fit, and he got forward, didn't he, and joined in the attacks.
A lot more energy in the team.
Rioch and Moss weren't quite the boys for that, were they, last time? But yeah, interesting setup, this one. I think this is the most. The team did evolve over the season. It went so bad that we just made changes for changes' sake as the season went on, didn't we? Before we started playing people all over the shop. But
fifth one from Berry, and
Red Mile, nowhere near it.
No, that's sloppy.
Yeah, that was really poor.
Off the post. Oh my god, what a scramble!
What's Red Mile doing on the line? That's embarrassing again.
I wish we had a replay for that, because that deserves a replay. But yeah, run into the box, nice ball over the top, good shot, saved, rebound, hit the post, bounced around, Red Mile flying, and in the back of the net, 1-0, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think Red Mile made two
that
major
line
mistakes.
Is not straight, Glenn.
It's not great, is it?
No. You see the flag at the top? I don't remember seeing a halfway flag before.
There used to be a quiz question about people who had halfway flags, when you were young. It was like, there was some sort of thing about it, but I can't remember now. So yeah, Town 1-0 down.
Would you say that's fair?
They were just about shaded it.
Yeah, they had the penalty chance. They had a couple of chances. Shrewsbury have had a few counters, but again.
There's a lot of space on the wings if we're going to exploit it, but it's not been too bad from Town. Watching that Plymouth game, and that Bury game is the last two I've watched, where we got battered in both those games. This has been better, but mentality was an issue in this team.
Here we go.
Oh my god! It's hard to watch at times.
Oh my god! Slice.
There he is. I told you.
That kind of ball just puts pressure on your defence.
Yeah.
Bit of hands there.
What?
He pushed him. That's unbelievable decision. That's definitely a foul.
Big boos. Big boos by the Bury fans.
Do you think it was a foul for Bury? He's given a throw.
Oh. Yeah, no, I thought it was a throw, but he flicked it off him just at the end.
I thought he pushed him. These shirts are huge.
They are.
They're like a sail slowing you down when you're running.
Flip that. So it's we do look like a car crash at the back though. You can see why Dunny said what he said.
Midfield, got a couple of good players in midfield. Got a couple that obviously Lowe, Rogers and Jepson. You've got some attack. But in defence and Bavin there, you've got a bit of heart in your mouth moments.
I think it'll be a few of those when we're watching things as we go through this. But it'll be an interesting one to see quite how this happened, how it went so all as it goes on. But there we go. Just one of the things I was reading in the programme, Ollie, about our physio, because at the moment our physio was a man called Simon Ward. Now, I don't remember Simon Ward at all, right? And we were talking in the last game about Rachel Greenlee doing the job.
Yep.
Now, what had happened is, I'd totally forgotten about this, but Simon Shakeshaft was our physio, and he got unwell during this period of time and had to take a sabbatical from work. So for the first few games of the season, Rachel Greenlee took over to do it, and then at the end of it, they offered her the job, but because it wasn't a full-time position and she would have had to have given it up when Simon came back from his sort of sabbatical, she turned it down. So luckily, this guy Simon Ward had been working, I think, for Northampton, and was local, kind of pitched up at the right time. So he was the physio until Shaky came back, maybe at the end of the season or start of the season before, but he did come back eventually. So yeah, that's why it's not Rachel when she runs on, even though quite a few people from this era will probably remember it was her. Go on.
Oh, that's a nice ball from Lowe. Good ball. Can he get it? Oh, nice turn from Rogers.
He just wanted to run at him every time.
Yeah, he did. Ball in the box. A bit too long.
It would be nice for Rogers because he could have a go and run at them, or he always probably had an option in Jempson, didn't he, to just swing it in there. So, it gave him a lot of options when we were in attacking positions, but there wasn't much of an overlap going on for Andy Thompson there, Ollie. I don't know if you noticed.
No, he's not going to get forward. Just while we're just talking about Ryan Lowe, it's always fascinating that for me. That I always find it quite funny that Bury fans used to always try and claim like Ryan Lowe as one of their own, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah.
I actually messaged my mate Adam today and said, how many games do you think Ryan Lowe played for Bury and how many for Shrewsbury? And he said he reckoned 270 for Bury and maybe 100 or so for Shrewsbury. So I did a poll on Twitter to see what fans thought, and 70% of Shrewsbury fans think that he played more games for Bury, but he didn't. He actually played more games for Shrewsbury, and only 160 for Bury. So it's always funny, isn't it, how people's memories have an impression of a player. But yeah, I always remember these games because he obviously went to Bury 3 times. Oh, that was a nice bit of 1-2 from Rogers.
So that was the Gemmo Rogers combination there. Tolly needs this.
Good defending from Bury. But yeah, it's always interesting how people always think of some players from their history, but it's not always true.
No, I know. I think it's because he's managed them as well.
Yeah, but this was before then as well. I always remember Bury fans came in.
Well, he is. I mean, to be fair, and he's one of the ones that sticks around after the end of the season and gets us out of the trouble that they got us into. And so, again, probably one of those ones that deserves that credit from that. But I know quite a few Town fans who haven't got much time for Ryan Lowe.
I thought he was good for us. Good cross? Oh, not too bad. Red mile with a header
there is a
throw.
Yes. there is a certain amount of people that I've seen who are like, he was never that good for us. But I think it's the same as, like, he's a modern day Sean Wally. He played on the wing a lot and was never influential all the time, but is someone that stuck with us for a long time and probably deserves a bit more credit than maybe he gets from some people. But I don't know. I think that as well at the time you often he'd play instead of Aston, and people who liked Aston used to lament Lowe getting a start all the time, so you have to kind of factor that sort of thing in when you're talking about whether you liked a player or not back in the day. But there we go. Interesting about this Bury team, Ollie. They've started off alright, they're 1-0 up, missed a penalty. They went on to have a really good season. They recovered from a poor start. I said they were 17th in the table when they started. And by the by January 2003, they were 3rd in the table, and they stayed up there right to the end of the season. And they faded on the last day. They lost 3-0 to Wrexham, ended up in the playoffs, and then lost 3-1 in the playoffs to Bournemouth, who were on their sort of rise up the leagues. So they did have a good season, and you can kind of see that they're sort of playing
that's a dive. That's a booking in today's football. He dived, didn't he? Surely.
Simulation, Ollie. Yeah. Mind you, with Red Ball just hanging legs out here, there, and everywhere, you might as well, to be honest with you. So this was a pretty decent Bury team, one of their sort of better seasons they had in that period. Obviously, they eventually got back up to League Two, League One, didn't they, as it is now, for a while. But yeah, sadly, no more. Your Bury, you talk about your Bury mate on the podcast all the time. He must just be devastated.
He was at this game as well. He said he went for a posh meal with his missus. Must have been before they got married. So yeah, he went all posh this day.
Well, this is before I started playing for the away supporters, but they did play in the morning. They played the Everton Stewards and they lost 6-2 to the Everton Stewards, but this is before I started playing for them, so I was there just in my usual car full. We'd driven up for the game. I think your brother was with me, so I remember us having a good laugh. I remember us having a specific laugh at a specific moment that we should recall as the game goes on, but we've not reached that point yet, so we'll see what happens. But Yeah, it's an interesting start. I mean, 1-0 after half an hour, probably still just about fair. We've not created too many clear-cut chances.
No,
That was
sloppy,
awful by
aren't
Wone.
Just it's a sloppy side. Obviously, we have the beautiful thing of hindsight here, not hindsight, but history, knowing what this team did. But yeah, some of the play has been quite poor from Shrewsbury.
Our record at Bury around this time had been absolutely awful, Ollie. We'd only scored 1 in the previous 6 visits to Bury. And then, they're not exactly one of the biggest teams in the world, are they? So we had a poor record at Bury over the years. And it is one of those... Again, I think I remember at the time thinking, this is about time we put a record right here and get a win away at Bury and score some goals. But we did one. Not the other, Ollie. But, I don't know, Bury seemed to always kind of be in our way at important points of the season. Like, obviously, the Paul Hurst season we lost there, didn't we? So, not ideal.
A poor corner from Wayne there. He's not exactly rushing back.
No. He had quality, though, normally from set pieces. Like,
Just
think of the Everton game. Yeah, think of the Everton game and the goals he scored from that, It was a player there once upon a time. Maybe we didn't see it consistently enough.
The stand is empty, isn't it? Look at that. It is, as you said, very, very empty. So when we had that Bury game a couple of weeks ago, that stand was absolutely rammed.
I suspect that stand behind, sort of facing away from the camera, is completely shut, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've not seen anyone in there, have
I think it is closed.
Save money job, because they say they were already struggling, so not ideal. But Bury had sort of scored already quite a few. Is that the press there, do you think?
Yeah, I think
right inside the pitch. I'd like to see a picture of that.
Does that Wayne get booked?
Kicked the ball away, didn't he?
Yeah.
I forgot that rule was around for so long back then. Yeah, he kicked the ball away after a free kick, got booked. Bit harsh, never mind. That's the way it goes, isn't it, with these pedantic referees always getting involved.
What's he doing? Oh,
do you
he
remember
gone
this
forward?
rule?
Yeah.
Yes,
He's
do you
been
remember
booked
that rule?
for his mouth.
Yeah, and you got a 10 yards, you could move it forward 10 yards.
I was
going
to challenge you on the kicking the ball away. That's more of a recent rule. But I don't understand why they bring those rules in, because for me that was a good rule. Booking for gobbing off
and bring it forward. Yeah, it was only around for a couple of years, wasn't it? And then it kind of went.
One of these things that just kind of goes away.
You always think the rules are changing and that every rule that starts stays forever, but obviously that's not the case, is it? There are things that they do that...
Terrible possession from Shrewsbury there.
We've drifted off over here, haven't we?
Yeah.
Could do with getting back in it a little bit. Yeah, there's definitely no one in that stand. And there's a couple of people there, Ollie. It does look like it's open. Not for many people. There's a kid sort of hanging around the doorway, not really very interested.
Oh, no, it's just the one end.
Yeah, right behind the benches there's some people. Makes you wonder how many people are in the stand. There's cameras in.
Very quite direct, aren't they? But they're quite effective. They get the ball forward quite well.
Both teams are very direct. Both teams are looking for their 2 forwards, hold it up, and then everyone else gets involved. This is sort of classic 4-4-2 football, isn't it, at the moment?
Good clearance. It's always a difficult one as a fullback.
Tricky ball. There's the I'm really looking every time the correct mark to see if I recognise someone. You normally do. What else have we got to say that I wrote down for this game in my research? Let's just see this ball in first. Oh god, Wone skied it.
Foul.
Yeah, it's a foul. That's a foul. Yeah, I don't know. What else did I have a look at? There was an incident with one of the players on here, Bury defender Jamie Stewart. Was quite a promising young player. Apparently, he was on Charlton's books, who at this time were a little bit further up the leagues, and he was one of the first people to get tested positive for cannabis and cocaine, like when they started testing footballers, and kind of became a bit of a big story back in the day. So he'd eventually gone down the leagues. He got sacked by Charlton and was sort of trying to sort of resurrect his career at League 2 level, really, but. Yeah, not great for him.
And not great for us. Gemma offside again.
Yeah, that happened quite a bit.
Good ball that though from Rodgers. Nice ball to find him. Good control and good cross. He started the game quite well, Rodgers.
Those two have linked up well in this so far. When they've had a chance, it's definitely been a sort of one-up on that last game we watched. But yeah, I don't know. We're not too bad here. I wouldn't be too upset about this first half performance. I remember what it was in the day.
As well. He was quite calm position.
There you go, Redmar keeps it forward. Nothing.
Easy.
But too easy sometimes with those balls. But not a horrendous performance so far, and you can see why we were kind of holding on in here with the way we were playing. But yeah, I think it's into the second half where things go disastrously wrong, and Yeah, it'd be nice to see
all over the top.
Atkins. Yeah.
Garner's quick. Oh my God,
Keeper.
he's missed it. That was a
Rogers.
scare.
Yeah,
Both
that's what
goalkeepers
Rogers
are a
did
bit
though.
shaky in this game so far.
Rogers' pace used to worry keepers, didn't it, with that sort of thing? If it was him, you knew he was pretty nippy.
So here's a question for you, Glenn. So in terms of Rogers, who's been a rapid striker since Rogers? Bradshaw or who else have we had?
Faye.
Yeah,
Faye was rapid.
Faye was quite fast.
Uh,
I'd say Rogers was faster though.
Should we do a virtual sprint off, like the virtual Grand National? Sort of create them all in a computer program and see who was the fastest in their peak in Football Manager and do something like that. Who's the fastest player we've ever had? I don't know. That's a tricky question.
Yeah, I always like a fast striker. It always puts the opposition under threat. You always got the ball over the top option.
Yeah, you get all sorts, don't you? Between sort of James Collins is more robust, but was also quite sort of deceptively quick as well. Yeah, we have had some sprinters, haven't we? Do you remember Akwasi Asante, who came on loan from Birmingham? I remember the first game he played. He just was like a natural sprinter. He was so fast.
And rubbish at football.
Problem is he couldn't shoot. So, unfortunate. He's still playing somewhere.
That's a foul.
He's had
Thompson.
a career. Yeah, I'm not impressed by Thompson. He's very deep. Doesn't get out. Not really doing all that much.
Referee's having a bit fed up with our antics.
Won't need some change. I want to book him. I'm hoping we get to see some classic Luke Rogers histrionics as this game goes on.
He's all over the place, Johnson. He has to calm down. That's not too bad for him.
It was Wone though. That was Wone.
This is scrappy.
He held the player's
Everyone's
shirt down in the
down.
box. Oh my God.
They all go down too easy.
Everyone's got the old blue RNW kits on in the stand. I'd like to see Busy at some point in this footage.
Who can spot Busy first?
That would be great.
It's a lot of dyed hair on the pitch and in the crowd.
Yeah.
Ooh, there we go.
Get out, Gemmo. No one. Oh, Luke's there. No one else there. But we're starting to maybe get back on top of it here.
Yeah.
What a ball that was.
Oh, that was close.
Red Ball just put his hand up. Just that'll do. I've got nothing else in the tank here, lads. 35 minutes in. Oh dear. Someone did put on the Facebook page when I asked about what people's recollections of this game were. Is Matt Redmond the most unfit player to ever play for Shrewsbury Town? And I said probably along with Mendes Lang when he was with us because he was super unfit.
This
the old exercise
photo
bike.
of him is unbelievable. And you would, I remember, I don't know how it came up. I remember showing Becky a photo of him, and then I told him that he's now playing for Cardiff in the Premier League, and she was like, he was. What? You wouldn't be surprised to say he was maybe 4 stone overweight.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it? When Mendes Lang was the old getting the exercise bike in the tunnel, just because when he wasn't playing, they just wanted to keep his fitness regime up, so that we could actually get something out of him. He was never good for us though. At the end of the day, was he? But yeah, it was miraculous. You always think about how do we let Mark Pugh go and he gone up? But I always think the Mendes Lang story is a bit more more crazy, really. Peterborough, I think, maybe. Yeah, I think he definitely played for Peterborough for a long time. But yeah, he's done alright to get himself up. It just takes a change of mindset sometimes for players, doesn't it? Or the right manager, or just some little change to sort of trigger a difference in a player. I guess, I don't know.
Do you think it was Neil Warnock screaming at him that saw his way out?
Could well have been. Oh dear. Starting to slow down a bit, Tony. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
It's not quite the same zip about us.
Good ball into line. There's a couple of players that seem to want to pass the ball. So you've got Drysdale passing the ball, you've got Tolly passing the ball, Lowe trying to pass the ball, but then you've got quite a few players who just seem to want to hoof it as soon as they get it.
But that's all Redmond ever did. He just was a panic merchant, wasn't he? He just wanted to get rid of it as the most simple thing and the most agricultural football you've ever seen, isn't he? So,
that
Tolly.
wasn't good. That's got to be yellow. At least a talking to. Oh, he's gone for his ball.
I can't stop looking at his ball spot. Poor bloke.
That's obviously yellow. Come on, mate. You can't complain about that one.
Is that newbie? He was always a Murphy gate. The Scouser. Might be. A very fan of recognise him straight away, no doubt. But, yeah. Get on with it, ref. Come on. No, it wasn't newbie. I want to get close to Dunfield, see what he looked like when he was younger, because he's obviously really young at this point in time.
Getting booked there. Interesting on Drysdale. Again, another player that had played a lot of games. Played 100 games for Shrewsbury. Played 100 games in his career, sorry. He played 6-6 with Shrewsbury. Then he went to Telford and Hensford, and then his career just kind of ebbed away. And again, that's what we've said this on the podcast before, that when a bit like your favourite player, Jermaine Granderson, even League One players sometimes just disappear and go nowhere, and just the whole career ends.
I don't remember Drysdale playing much in the conference season. I could be wrong. Is that the commentators? I might be wrong. I'd have to look it up, and I'm not going to. But I think that the relegation season probably just absolutely destroyed his confidence as a young lad, didn't it? Do you know what I mean? And he never really did much after this season.
But on the pitch so far, you'd say he's one of the better players.
Yeah, he was always pretty neat and tidy. I was surprised how poorly it went for him. I guess we're sort of looking at back things, with sort of blue-tinted specs on. But yeah, it's surprising how players just do disappear. And that's even players who played, that many games for a club. You always have loan players who come through, or young lads that play 3 or 4 games. But to play that many games and just disappear off the face of the earth is quite surprising, I think. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people think about Drysdale as this game goes on, really. And we do the live chat on the YouTube channel, so we shall see.
Nice ball over the box from low.
Come on, Luke.
That was close.
Is he offside or a foul?
Yeah. He drifts a lot, doesn't he, Low? Starts on the right wing, but he's got licence to go wherever he wants. Either that's because he decided it, or Ratcliffe told him. But
or he just ignored Ratcliffe.
I imagine he just ignored Ratcliffe and decided went where he wanted.
I wouldn't have put it past him, to be honest with you. To be honest, he's not been very wide on a wing, has he? We've not, we've not played with wingers really at all.
You could describe him in again, my favourite Football Manager term, a bit of an inside forward here.
Yeah, I mean, Wone's out wide. What's Chelsea? No, that was all right. Yeah, Wone's definitely out wide. He's not cutting in at all. But yeah, those sort of all over. Risky. Jason Aldo. That kit's way too big for Low. Of all of them. Do you think they just made all the kits in Matt Redmar size and said, "Lads, just get on with it"? Risky, Watkins.
Heathcote tracking back.
The old pro. He'll have it. Stand him up.
He fouled him there.
Probably a foul.
That was a foul. Referee plays on.
Tolly. That was something he did a lot of. Mopping up round the back. He was, more of a
defensive. He had a lot of mopping up to do that season.
That's for sure. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he did certainly mop up. Well, or did he? Possibly he didn't, because we let so many goals in as it went on. But yeah, there we go. 5 minutes to half time, Ollie. I don't know. Who stood out as your sort of man of the half?
I don't know. No one from Shrewsbury is really impressing, is it? Rogers is full of running. Lowe's done some decent bits of play. Gemmo's just been offside all the time. He's been quite poor. No one really stands out, I have to say. Maybe Lowe or Rogers. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'd probably agree with that. I mean, have Bury looked, individually player for player any better than our players?
They look a little bit more collectively, a little bit better. I think they look a bit fitter, a bit quicker over the ground. A little bit more accurate with their passing.
I suppose so. We've stopped. It does feel like the last 10-15 minutes, the defence have been a bit more solid for us. But again, trying to remember what it was like. They'd often played fine for a good 25-30 minutes and then just have these big spells where
kick the ball away. Burying.
Who was that?
He's not happy with us.
There's trouble. Wone's.
Is he going to book him? We'll have to maybe do some chat. I've never seen so many yellow cards for. He is. He's booking him for kicking the ball away.
Do you get 10 yards for that as well?
I don't know.
I'll find out.
It's such a petty thing to do.
Heathcote was about 15 years older than Matt Redmar.
Look at that shirt, Glenn. You can't even see his elbows.
Andy Thompson was very short, to be fair. He was absolutely tiny, wasn't he? He was.
You're not telling me that didn't slow him down.
Look at him. Look at him. He's tiny.
There we go. 10 yards.
Yeah, 10 yards. Bring that rule back, Ollie. It's hilarious. I don't need your magic spray, you lock for the lines. I want the 10 yards infringement. I wonder why they just gave up on that.
I don't know.
Interesting, isn't it? Probably because it just delayed the game too much. It does slow everything down a little bit, doesn't it? But then if you've got VAR nowadays, I suppose it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, would it? It's not exactly a quick process at the upper levels, but I say bring it back, Ollie.
Hump forward.
We're going to get a chance.
Yeah, not Redmond.
No. Neat from Drysdale again?
Again, yeah, he's always neat, isn't he? Good cross from him.
No.
Oh, not bad. Speculative.
I think that might have been a shot.
Shot comes straight across.
Jog it in. Half time, mate. So you can go and get a bit of orange, some energy gels. Yeah. Oh well, we're not creating anything clear cut, have we? There's been
No.
those chances where Garner came out and missed it, and
A few
that's probably
offsides.
been about the best
We
of
haven't had
half.
a clear-cut chance.
No.
Oh, that was embarrassing. We just ran into the back of them.
Wone didn't like a header. I remember that for a fact. I don't think he ever headed the ball that entire season. If we see one here, I'll give it a note because he was very I don't want to get hurt, Ian Wone. Go on, Luke.
That was a hard ball.
Luke does stand out as a player that could obviously go on and do better, doesn't he? It's just the pace and the effort and the sort of marauding style he had. He
didn't have a bad career, did he? So,
did it right, didn't
born
he?
in Birmingham, started his career at Shrewsbury. For Shrewsbury, he had 176 games, 65 goals. But we were talking about Gemmo last time, about how he's played for 20 teams, and Luke Rogers played for 17. But I think it's fair to say his highlight has to be playing up front with Thierry Henry for New York Red Bulls.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when he moved out there, you
Yeah.
know, and still playing at what was probably maybe one of the highest levels he played at the MLS, wasn't it? And yeah, I remember watching a few of those games on Sky as it was back in the day then, and thinking fair play to Luke, he did do really well. I guess that happened before he came back.
Yeah,
to
he
us.
did. He
I
came
can't
back to us after that. He went to
Yeah.
Portsmouth, then he came back on loan to us
That was
in 2012. Not sure what he does today.
Luke, yeah, I don't know to be honest with you. I bet he's in Birmingham somewhere. Put a fairly good wedge of money on that, to be honest. Yeah, we shan't talk about the incidents that he had at the club, but
Good bit of ball
never really.
movement there. At times we play some tidy stuff. Final ball. It's history of Shrewsbury Football Club, the final ball.
That's what Redmore liked. A nice header with no one around him and about 20 minutes to head it. He would get that right
And
maybe three times in out of 10.
Atkins does spray the ball around quite nicely when he has to try and win the ball.
He was the pivot, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Again, just
Oh, you're kidding me. Offside again. Yeah.
Gemma wants it like that every time, though, doesn't he? That little diagonal, getting it on his head. That's a very... the ball boy's not exactly got club kit on, has he? It's like a young lad that's walked it off the street. Baseball cap.
Probably couldn't afford it, to be fair.
Well, I think we'll be half time now. Don't know if there'll be much injury time on it. There's not been too much of a stoppage, has there?
No, it's half time. I'm going to get a cup of tea and a Battenberg, I think.
Why not? That's probably what they had on in the press room on the day, Ollie. You probably could have got one of them. I see, two of my friends used to do the football, the Shrewsbury Town commentary at this point in time. Andy Davis and Jerry. So I keep trying to look whether they're in one of these boxes doing the commentary. But yeah, anyone that used to listen to Shrewsbury back in the day, yeah, might be. Not too sure. Might just be the Berry people. They might be in the proper press box. But so he used to do the commentary and stuff there, and then we'd often meet them.
So what was that broadcast on?
It was, well, this is sort of the early days of Shrewsbury, isn't it? So that used to go out on the club website feed, didn't it? And obviously that's evolved into taking the Shropshire Star feed now, doesn't it? BBC Shropshire Radio feed. But they used to do their own commentary for a long time. In fact, I broke my ankle back in the day, and because I couldn't get into the ground when it was at the Gay Meadow, and I couldn't really sit anywhere easy, I spoke to the football club, and I knew Ian and obviously Jerry and Andy through doing their commentary stuff. And they let me sit at the back of the press box for about 6 months, and I sort of chipped in every now and again, which was quite good fun. And interestingly, now we've ended up doing this. So there we go. This was probably around that time actually. But yeah, so it used to be good listening to them do their commentary. You used to have to wake Andy Davis up sometimes, especially with the really boring games. So we've kind of kept in this.
Yeah, we did.
1-0.
We had a bit of spell there, but yeah, not keeping possession. I don't know. Would this be an entertaining game for a neutral?
No.
There's Terry Dunfield there, young Terry Dunfield.
Oh yeah.
Not him now.
Little Terry.
There he is.
Oh no. I was going to say, it didn't look like Terry Dunfield. No,
He was on screen a second ago. You missed it.
We'll get another. Just to think that he won the Blue and Amber Fanzine Award for the most Marmite player in 2009. He didn't think he'd win such prestigious awards back in the
reckon
day.
he still got it?
I don't know. We never actually sent him anything. We just put it in the fanzine.
So your fanzine was going full flow at this time?
No, we didn't start the Blue and Amber Fanzine until the conference season. We're just towards the end of the conference season. But at the moment, it was you'd buy you a large Scotch now, wouldn't
The
you?
large
That was
Scotch,
still going
yeah,
strong.
I was gonna say.
And then Or they might have stopped by then. There was a period between them finishing and us
And then
starting.
the
Because in the
internet
first,
starting.
yeah,
Because this
in
is
the
fun
first-
actually looking at this one. You actually found a few things on the internet about this game. Obviously,
Yeah.
the Plymouth one was difficult. It seems to the BBC actually seemed to have a website. I don't know if it was the first year or them having a website, but the Plymouth game didn't come up online at all. But this one, that's still the article's still online now.
Yeah, I looked at that as well.
Offside again,
Yeah.
bloody hell.
Well, talking about that, I was looking at the programme, this next Shrewsbury Town home programme, and it said Shrewsbury launched in this summer, so it hadn't been going too long. And you could get all the town goals and all the coverage of live games for £24.99 for 12 months. Oh, a bargain that was. Get all the club for like 24 quid for a year. It's way more than that nowadays. It's like 74 quid, isn't it? And you don't get all the goals straight away either. So that was good. Bargain.
Direct football from both sides.
Yeah, I think this is the stage where you 1-0 down away from you're just like, right, just don't concede again now. If you can get to 1-0 at half time, you've still got a chance. Normally, if you concede a second around about now, it's pretty much game over. I can't quite remember whether they get another one yet. I obviously know what the score was and anyone that went will, but I suppose if you're watching this for the
There's a
first
lot of extra time here. I don't understand where this extra time has come from. I do question this clock.
It's the second game in a row this clock's... offside.
We've got 4 minutes of extra time here, and we've had 1 goal, 1 penalty, and 2 10 yards.
We're going to have to speak to Ian Whitfield or Matt Burgess about their clocks, because maybe that's why they do so much work. Their clocks are running faster than the rest of the world, so maybe that's what's going on. But what did we get to last time? 51?
Yeah.
We're not far off that again. Honestly, making us do all this extra work for nothing. That's got to be about half time now, though. I can't hear any whistles or anything, so...
It's a cup of tea time now. Come on.
Oof, got a caught under his feet there. Oh, God. He didn't want it there. No one seems to be heading to the buffet in the away stand yet too much either, so it isn't that close.
There's no... I don't understand how we've got 5 minutes of extra time.
No, nor me.
50 minutes.
It's it is interesting, this game. I think the more it's gone on, I think that it's been quite... the last 25 minutes has been just neutral. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not really been either team.
No, the team's been on
top.
top.
Yeah. What would Mark Elliott be saying about this on the radio?
I think he'd be moaning about Jemison and his offsides.
You wouldn't be saying Town have got to make their chances count, because we haven't had too many chances yet.
No.
But there's goals to come.
So who would have been doing this with Stuart Dunn these days, Glenn?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Maybe James Bond. He used to do it back in the day, didn't he? And then it was Stuart Cross. Then it was... I thought it was half time. Then it was Steve Cross, wasn't it, for ages? I loved Steve Cross. I really like Mark Elliott, to be fair. He's a different kind of co-commentator and slash presenter, isn't he? Because the sort of way Radio Shropshire cover it changed a little bit. Yeah. But Steve Cross was just a co-commentator, wasn't he? And he was just so pro Shrewsbury Town that it was embarrassing at times. Like, if you listen to the commentary on our last podcast for the Bury game, when we scored, all you could do is hear Steve Cross just cheering and going mental. And I like that, because that's exactly how anyone who's a Shrewsbury Town fan felt about that moment as well. But I think Dunny and Elliott get quite excited about things sometimes, don't they, as well?
We're on 51 minutes. This is remarkable.
Yeah, we have not changed engines.
You're getting value for money with 6 minutes of extra time.
We're definitely not on British Standard Time. We have to have some serious words with our technical team here, Ollie.
There we go. Half time. Cup of tea time, and
cup of tea.
We'll be back for the second half. So here we are, back out for the second half. Cup of tea, Battenberg done, and ready to kick off. I'm excited to hopefully some words of wisdom from the manager at half time to try and get Shrewsbury Town back into this game. Atkins is ready, Tolley's ready to kick off. Let's see if the ball stays in play. What do you reckon, Glenn? Where do you reckon it's going to go?
Good odds this gets turfed out with the player. Here we go, Atkins.
Pass.
Classy.
That's nice.
Classy.
Pass to Rodgers and run, son.
Foul. What do you think Ratcliffe said at half time, Ollie?
Probably nothing. He's probably eating a sandwich, having a pint.
Probably said, talk to each other, lads. It would really help, to be honest with you. But, you talk about what Dunny said about this game in terms of kamikaze defending or whatever it was. This is the bit where that kind of comes to fruition, is it? I mean, obviously we made probably maybe 3 mistakes in the first half. One for the pen, one for the goal, and another big mistake that Dunbavin made. But other than that, it wasn't totally awful. it gets totally awful now, Ollie, for a little period here. And
Let's fasten your seatbelts. Hold on. It's going to be carnage.
It is, but it'll be worth it.
That's a foul. Referee plays advantage. Ball in the box. And, oh no. 48 seconds into the second half. And Terry Dunfield has scored.
Big Terry.
Bury 2, Shrewsbury 0. Yeah, good finish. Good cross as well. And good advantage. What's Drysdale moaning about? You fouled him, son.
Offside? Yeah, I don't know. That was pretty poor all round, wasn't it, to be fair? The centre-backs didn't really make enough of a challenge of it, and I don't think Dunfield got tracked by anyone. That's exactly the way to not start half, isn't it?
No.
You've got an half-time, you've got a second chance to kind of get back into this game, and then, there he is, little Terry Dunfield.
All those words of wisdom
he doesn't
for
look
nothing.
that young. Look, he looks really pleased to have scored a goal. Look at him.
He knew he tried.
Yeah, this is probably one of the first goals he ever scored, I imagine. Doing that sort of profile. What's Gemma man? Oh, we got the ball.
That's important.
It's a slightly problematic thing. So basically, from what I can recall, our heads absolutely go for a good 10 minutes here, Ollie, and it's pretty horrific to watch. But yeah, it's going to have to be a case of seeing quite how bad this got to be before we see the reason why we're watching this game back later on.
That was interesting. Referee playing there.
That was really lazy by one. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Freaking hell. Just sort of casually passed it to them. If they score from this, he's in trouble.
Well comes in.
Used his electric pace to cover across the back there. Well done, Matty. That's what he was known for, the electric pace. Oh my goodness. But yeah, 2-0. I would have already thought it's game over. So I'm so pessimistic about games.
Do you reckon? Do you reckon a few fans might have thought about leaving at this point?
Well, we'll get
saying that. You say that we're in a good position, weren't we? A false dawn in terms of the start of the season, in terms of position.
Yeah, no one was like totally angry at 2-0. There was a lot of people pretty angry when it gets a bit later on, and we'll talk about people leaving and stuff and banging on doors. But yeah, it was a tricky 10 minutes this, I think, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was a good ball into the box, wasn't it? But Bury were not a great team, actually. So I know they had a good season, but they weren't like stellar. You know, they're not absolutely playing beautiful football off the pitch. They're just a bit better at this sort of attritional stuff, I suppose. Yeah. I just can't remember whether any of the next few goals are actually defensive mistakes or not. Be interested to see where they are or not. But poor old Dunbar. 2-0, 2 in.
He didn't really have much chance, did he, on that one? No. I don't think.
Yeah, he didn't really get much help from his defence, did he? But yeah, it's going to get worse, Ian. It's going to get worse, to be fair. Yeah, I don't know. It is funny the way this season went. I keep thinking back to the programme I read today about Ratcliffe saying playoffs were his aim again, and that was the ambition, and how badly wrong he got that. You know, I don't think, again, for me as a fan, I don't think anyone can have thought at the start of the season quite what this would go like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nick, like as a fan,
just shows you how much football's played in the head. You lose that confidence. And you can. We look at a couple of seasons ago. Walsall dropped like a stone. Scunthorpe dropped like a stone. It happens, isn't it? Another example of it was Shrewsbury this year. That year, I should say.
Yeah. Once you get on a bad run, it's just catastrophic, isn't it? I mean, yeah, you're right. This year's one under Ricketts was hard to get ourselves out of, wasn't it? It wasn't anywhere near as bad as what we did.
Good flick on. Kind of collapse.
Ollie was closing in back post there, but it didn't quite fall.
No one was quick enough to react.
But you can see why Easton was a big miss to this team, can't you? To have two
a bit of an outlet
wingers.
and a bit of pace as well. He offers something different from Lowe. He would have stayed wide, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that was lovely by Drysdale. Really good.
Tell you what, he's been best.
That's
a nice ball to Rogers. Go on, Rogers. Go on, son.
That's I think his name's Swales. I remember his name very long time. He was a bit cumbersome.
He's not shy, is he, Rogers? He's full of confidence.
Yeah, tricky. Pocket rocket. Very unique. But also, like, a lot of players nowadays, when they're quick, are like built like a sprinter, do you know what I mean? Whereas Rogers was quick, but he was also quite stocky and quite short and quite powerful. It was quite a lethal combination at times, to be fair. Here we go. Ian's delivery.
He really deserved those.
He played at a high level. Oh.
Danger to the fans rather than the goalkeeper.
Yeah. It's the most impressive Matt Redmore thing in this game so far.
He's a unit.
He was honestly the biggest unit we've had since I've been watching Town. I can't think of a. He's got man boobs as well, to be fair. Definitely got man boobs. That wasn't a phrase back in the day, was it, to be fair? But yeah, not a healthy man, as we said last time.
It just shows you
Not
how
didn't
much
change much.
football has moved on from these days. You'd never get away without playing at this level now.
You look at Akinfenwa, he's bigger than Matt Redmond was, but it is just bulk muscle, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's powerlifting and all that sort of thing. Not just powerlifting Burger King, as Matt Redmond probably was doing, but it's a different kind of fitness. But I can't think of many massive players playing professional football right now.
No, it doesn't happen, does it? You Neil Ruddocks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
can't get away with it these days. We know he was went to Swindon, and his thighs were so big that he couldn't actually start the season, and they had to order some special shorts from China.
Oh my god! That is a bit of a worry, isn't it? To be fair, goodness me, he's not a healthy-looking man anyway. Neil Reddock nowadays.
Oh, bless him.
So we've gone 2-0 down here, but we've not played that bad second half so far. I thought it was going to be way more catastrophic than this. We've kind of got in their box. If a ball lands nicely for us, or someone can finish, it could be easily 2-1 here. Here we go. Thompson's been pulled way out of position there.
They're all over the shop in terms of positioning. You get players all over the place. A lot of players going to ground as well. That's definitely moved on. The game's moved on in that sense. You don't get players going to ground as much as you used to.
No. That was a massive tackle by Heathcote, wasn't it?
The referee's done alright. He's played advantage when he's needed to.
I think his little 10 yards forward thing as well. I like that.
That's good. Again, this is what Bury are good at. They really like to get that man in that second half space.
They have played better in terms of that part. I agree with you. We've had no one
running beyond Rodgers. A bit more coached.
Yeah, we've had no one running beyond Rodgers and Jemison, have we, so far? Whereas they've had the sort of third man a couple of times. But then they probably have more with the ball. It's easier to do that. Yeah, Jemison and Rodgers do get isolated quite a lot. Atkins just didn't want to ever get up, did he? And sort of Tolly was finding his way in the game still, I suppose.
Again, that's just why I just keep repeating the point. But it's not a dynamic team in terms of fitness and physique and pace. And like you say, Aston's really missing from this team.
Yeah, definitely. He's a big miss.
Okay, see what Lowe's going to do here. And we rely on individual talent a lot. Good run from Lowe there. Couldn't find his man.
Over the corner. Shame. Yeah, Lowe's done okay. Lowe has got to be on the front two a couple of times, doesn't he, to be fair, but not as much as Bury have. But it's going to be tricky. So, it's interesting, isn't it? We haven't reached that point yet, but up until this point, I would have thought that Dunny's description is disastrous, depending on whether. Maybe it was a bit harsh up to this point. They've not been terrible. Sure. And they've had a fair bit to deal with. Oh. Timing!
There we go.
Yeah, that was awful.
Curse of the commentator in that.
Oh, that was absolutely terrible.
That is what you might call shambolic defending. We just parted like a sea. What happened there? Completely unmarked. Harsh on Bavo again there. I mean, just the defence just went completely missing. No central field, no cover, and they just walked in. And that's where you get your shambolic defending.
Yeah.
The penalty error.
That's that Powell Abbott. He went on to play Abbott.
Again, another game, Glenn, where the kick-off. Again, obviously we want to score, but kick-off was no delay. In modern football, the Bury players would still be celebrating now.
Bury fans, the game over here, aren't they? Quite loud now. They think that's job done. For them, it'll be interesting what the crowd are like when we look at the town fans, sort of agitated or not. You don't see busy down the front. There's like a bit of police tape or something on the front seats.
I think that's the opposition fans over there. I'm not sure.
You what?
I think that may be where the opposition. I don't know.
No, that's the town fans there.
No one's down at the front.
No one's that bothered yet early into the season, are they? It's just sort of like kind of see how it develops. He's definitely been one of the best players of this game.
He's been really good.
It's good to see.
So it's 3-0, 54 minutes, and it's not a good away day.
Bury fans have a really good voice. Not a great away day, no. It was nice weather though, and it was a bank holiday, so everyone was quite chill, I think. I do remember because they obviously go to get more goals here. When they got another one, it did get a bit angry, to be fair, in the stands. And as we were talking about, we were asking about people leaving. After this next goal, loads and loads of people left, Ollie, and just like there was a whole load of people on a bus tour from the Crown, I think, in Abbey Foregate, and they all just went back to their bus. So instead of like dribs and drabs of people going out, like
You just got one
30
big-
people all in one go went out at the same time.
Or
You'd be interested to see if the camera captures that.
yeah, and for me, you're seeing a lot of faults in this team. Some of our attacking play is really poor.
It's a lot of playing it into areas at times,
Yeah.
isn't it, when no one is. Relying on defensive mistakes by the opposition, which are not happening too often.
Berry look much better than us, don't they? They're making intelligent runs, and they're not just relying on individual players to do something. And Shrewsbury are desperate at this point.
Yeah, this is where it's getting a bit harem-scaring, isn't it now? Sort of waves of attacks again. Tollins handballed at him and it got crossed in.
It says a lot when your central midfielders that deep.
It is a really interesting case study though for this season that we no one wants to remember this season with any positivity at all other than the Everton game, but we kind of forget about season. Oh, that's a good goal.
Yeah.
Finish. Really good
Again,
finish.
too easy though.
Atkins was the one there. He looked like his man.
Well, Drysdale was off the pace, tracking his man. Midfield was nowhere to be seen. Berry player back of the net, and concede 2 goals in 4 minutes. Conceded 3 in 10 minutes as well.
Yeah.
That is not a good start to the half, and this is obviously where Dunny was full deserved in his criticism of the team.
Jimmy shaking his head then. He's not happy. Rodgers is not taking this. He didn't before.
They're keen to kick off again.
They must have thought they could get something out of this game, hadn't they? Oh my goodness. I'd quite like to go down the other end and just see what's going on with the Southamptons because there was tons of people leaving. I'm trying to listen to the Berry fans where they're singing "We Can See You Sneaking Out" or something. In full voice. It's not often you see him score 4 goals, Not for us either.
No.
I was looking at some stats about it today. It's happened less than 100 times in our history where we scored 4 goals.
How many games?
I don't know. We played since the 1950s, 20 odd games, 40 games a season maybe, something like that. It's a lot of games. I'm compiling a database on it. It's during the lockdown.
They're really keen to try and get another goal
to
here, aren't they? They're not giving up.
Well, why not? Keep going. Now we've got us on the rack now. I'm really weirded out watching this game. I don't like. If I was watching any other team be 4-0 down, I'd be really annoyed about it. Obviously, this is 19 years ago, or 18 years ago, but I don't know. This is what the season's all about.
You're watching this knowing the team gets relegated, so it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? Watching this, they were.
I'd say I don't think this is as bad as I thought it would look. That's the bizarre thing about
it. The defence, I don't know. I think this is a very poor game. Going forward, we're a bit clueless. We haven't really had any clear chances.
But what my point is, that when I think about this season, I think it was just atrocious every game. Do you know what I mean? All right, we're 4-0 down here, but in bits of it have been atrocious. But also, there's been bits of some players playing quite positively. Some bits where we've almost broken them down. It's not been great. I agree with you, but I think it got worse as the season went on, and it was atrocious. But this is just one of those things where they scored 3 quick goals from sort of lame, slow defending. But it'd be good to. You can't see their cameras leaving. They're gone by now. They went straight off when they scored. So they'll look a bit emptier our stand, I think now. No JCB behind the goal. I did just see a board with a JCB on there. So there we go. We continue the JCB theme in these games we covered. See if we can get something from this. Did Thompson have a long throw? He did. Not bad.
Flick on from Redmile to no one.
Yeah, get Redmile up front. Why not? I wonder how gung-ho he went as this game on. I suspect we'll have a bit of a phase now because it kind of happens with these games, isn't it? When he gets to 4, I know they'll want to get another goal, but
Shrewsbury having a bit of possession. Again, Rodgers and Drysdale involved.
That professional pride kind of kicks in, doesn't it? After the game, Ratcliffe talked about this in the next programme, and he said, "To say we look shaky at the back is an understatement. We were all over the place in the first 10 minutes of the second half." And then talked about that, putting the issues of communication to bed this week on the training pitch. And then said it was something he noted had to change, and it didn't, as we talked about. But ropey and all over the place, and then shaky. Sorry.
There wasn't a lot of players training away from the club at this point.
I think that happened more as the season went on. But you had sort of the Wones and the Jempsons apparently trained in Nottingham, didn't they, during the week, and then came to the games.
That's just not a recipe for success, is it?
No, particularly if you're talking 5 games of the season, there being a problem with communication, having had a whole pre-season, makes you wonder how often they turned up for pre-season training and actually turned up for all the sessions. But
offside again. My God, we've been offside more than we've had shots or anything. It's been very poor from an offensive position.
It'd be great to interview one of the players from this season just to find out what they thought about it, like a Lowe or a someone.
Here we go. Carl Murray comes on. Come on from Mickey Heathcote.
So does he go to centre back or do we go free at the back?
Let's see.
I can't remember. Because Murray did play centre back a lot this season, so it could possibly be a like-for-like change. One with a massive kit. Can't even see any of his legs. Poor Carl. He's like the season before I was an aspiring young central midfielder with the world at my feet. Now I'm playing centre back with Matt Redmar. What's gone wrong?
So where's he gone?
Oh no, he's gone. He's not the back, is he? So who's dropped in there?
Trying to figure it out.
We've gone 3. Yeah, we've gone 3 at the back by the quick. I think it's just Redmar, Drysdale, and Thompson. That's ballsy, Ollie. 4-0 down. I don't know though. Was Atkins dropped in there? Yeah, Atkins would occasionally play centre back, wouldn't he? It's hard to tell. I have to wait till they line up again.
Yeah, let's wait and see what happens. It's not a guess.
You had to make a change though. 4-0 down. Probably should have made a change before that, to be honest. But
you're talking about the subs. You've got limited options. When you bring Carl Murray on for Heathcote and then Moss comes on later on for Wode, you bring in fullbacks on for and also on the bench was Jason van der Bleur and Lee Kendall and Ian Stevens.
Terrible. Oh dear. This sub is what we got here. Oh, they made a sub at half time.
Yeah.
Nelson as well.
Yeah.
Forrest going
Billy.
off here. Chris Billy. I had an interesting thing about Forrest actually. I read while I was researching this. He almost died on the pitch a few years later playing for Ratcliffe Borough. He had some sort of incident and he swallowed his tongue. And luckily, the linesman that day was a trained doctor and he managed to stop him from swallowing his tongue and he survived. But apparently there was like 300 people watching it and he was sort of convulsing on the floor. And apparently he was lucky to survive. So here's your Martin Forrest stat for the day, Ollie.
The random trivia. We might not be as... We're not as good as Stu Dunn, but we will give you some random knowledge that you can impress your friends with.
Yeah, we'll do the Wikipedia research for you, don't we? That's where it all comes from. We're definitely only playing one centre-back, because look how open we are here. Oh, they should have scored again.
No, I think we're playing...
Save,
we're supposed to be playing 2 minutes of touch defence, but I think what Atkins is going...
shaking his head Atkins. He's like, what is going on here?
Forward.
Yeah, you might be right. Atkins is dropping in. It's not
Dunfield
working.
taking the corner duties. Oh, bit cheeky outside the box.
New Lampers, come on.
Skies it. Not good. Would you review that, Glenn? Would you want to see the ball in the box, or would you think that's sometimes a good idea to play it to Chris and Billy on the edge of the box?
Get it in the mixer, Ollie. Especially with our defence.
You know my famous stat: only 1 in 9 corners was always shot in the goal. So.
Yes, it does. Yeah, we've stopped. We had this thing, talked about the podcast, where me and my mates have kind of taken that on board now, and we don't really celebrate winning corners all that often, to be honest with you, especially with town. But yeah, it isn't a great avenue, to be fair.
Watkins, Atkins is definitely playing central defence there, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, obviously. It's weird because as the season went on, it was more often than not Carl Murray playing there. So maybe Ratcliffe made a decision that he preferred Atkins in central midfield and just knew that playing Atkins and Redmar centre backs was just.
It weren't being too mean. Do you really think that they thought that Redmar and Heathcote was going to be a successful partnership?
I don't know. No, I don't know. Heathcote was good in the last game we watched, wasn't he? So.
Yeah, but by now he's 35, 36.
36 now, is he? Oh God.
Yeah, he's 36.
Is that Ratcliffe? Oh no, I thought it was Ratcliffe. It's the very manager. Yeah, certainly a few too many old players in this team. Luke, off the bar. Could hit that. Some rapturous applause for something there. I think it was a town crowd. Not a bad shot, that. That's probably the best shot we've had in the game, isn't it, Ollie? Hitting the bar. Probably the only one we've had. Lucky Rogers. Oh well, we created a chance. There's definitely less people in that stand behind him. The funny thing is that all the people left and went to their bars And I think, obviously for everyone that was at the game will know what happens in it, but they were banging on the door trying to get back in later on. So it's quite. It was.
And they turned on the radio or something.
It's funny because the club have asked us to help them pick what games to look at, and we're trying to vary this between. It's just fun watching every game from the Borough season or from the Championship season in '94, or some of the good games under Turner or the impressive cup wins. But I don't think that's what supporting a football club's about. It's sometimes looking at games that really stand out in you for a variety of reasons, and also trying to show younger fans what kind of these different teams were like.
What they missed.
Yeah, exactly. And we all know what the teams were like over the last 10 years, but it's just trying to find games to stick out. So although we don't go on to have a positive result here, I find these sorts of games fascinating, and maybe nobody else does. Maybe people just want to see wins.
Oh, there we go. Good cross into the box. Gemmo not
Yeah.
offside for a change. Is there going to be a miraculous comeback? It's 4-1.
People have just got to the bus and they can
It's a
hear
good
them
cross from
scoring.
Lowe. And Gemmo wasn't offside for a change.
No, it looked like he was close to it though. What did he just say to that striker?
I don't know why. He's always copping off, isn't he? He's always got an opinion.
He's not a shorter one. No mad celebration this time though, Ollie.
No.
Shame. I enjoyed that crazy drinking celebration. In fact, I asked Nigel Jameson on Twitter what that celebration was like in the Plymouth game from the season before. He hasn't got back to me yet though. So
He's obviously listened to your criticisms on him.
it's obviously something horrendous that we can't discuss.
It is a shame, actually. We had I did line up Ben Davis to answer some questions when we did the Bury game, but unfortunately he broke his phone, and he came back to me and said, "Oh, apologise, couldn't get back." So it would have been nice to have got his insight into that Bury game, but it wasn't to be. So
It's a real shame. That.
Yeah.
We're getting interrupted. Live commentary's being interrupted by people there, Ollie. So I have to just excuse any noise in the background. Stuart Dunn doesn't have to put up this sort of thing, does he? Too bad. So.
Did you have your Battenberg at half time?
I had a bit of Battenberg, yeah.
So it's what being a commentator is all about, isn't it? Drinking tea
Exactly.
and eating cake.
Battenberg and tea. Don't drink tea. Don't drink hot drinks. But yeah, so we're back. We're back in it. 4-1.
Good run from Lowe. Oh, ref. That's got to be a booking. Surely.
They're booing.
Surely a booking.
You can hear the town fans quite a lot, can't you?
Come
I
on,
think
ref.
it's because...
That's got to be a yellow card. Has he gone soft?
Yes.
That's poor. That's a yellow card, that is.
The Bury fans are giving Lowe loads, knowing in a few years' time he'd be a hero there, isn't it? Oh, no.
That's a poor ball. He couldn't even be asked to kick that, could he?
He's been one of the players that stood out in this game as having been pretty atrocious. And
he's just
not
a
very
passenger.
impressive. He's languid, very languid, more languid than Jemison. There he is, the main man. I see him get an assist. It's a good pick. Rodgers got it. Turn in, do his man.
Go on, man, do him. Oh, nearly.
Like it. Good effort.
That's on there.
Rodgers was the same, bollocking the linesman.
You weren't short of opinions in this side, were they?
No, that's for sure.
Referee, if linesman ain't any of that.
No, don't blame him. So yeah, we're up to 70. Still pretty much game over, but more action to come. Much more. Nice spread. Drives on that. That was one thing that he'd give you. He hasn't done it there, but he was quick enough to get out when he drives down. That's the thing. Whereas when we were watching Moss and Rioch last time, you'd give them the ball there with about 20 yards in front of them. They just sort of stood there and didn't really move. So
there we go.
His change has helped a little bit. Murray's got on the ball a little bit and been down. He's tried to get forward. It's been a bit better. It's been a change. It's definitely been a change that's turned it around a little bit.
Lot less staff. And subs
I have a correction, Ollie, from the last commentary we did, where I described the assistant manager. I said it was Dave Cook. It was actually Dave Fogg, wasn't it? Because Dave Fogg was the assistant manager at that point. I got my Daves mixed up. Dave Cook was the assistant manager under, I don't know, one of the other managers, probably the next one. Peters. He was the assistant manager under Peters. But it was Dave Fogg now. So there you go. Official correction.
An apology.
Correct the record. Yeah, I can see Ratcliffe with the bottle in the hand just shouting at everybody.
We're just hoofing it, aren't we? Literally hoofing it.
There's no
That's offside,
catching play, is there? He's been decent, that Abbott up front for them.
Yeah. A better pass would have been there.
Oh.
There's just so much space, isn't there? The opposition have so much time on the ball.
Atkins is moaning loads, whereas Redmile just walks away. Just pretends whatever's going on is not happening.
But the space between our players and our reactions are poor.
It's the communication thing, isn't it? I mean, Atkins was old enough professional to know what the problem was, the communication issue. Clearly, he's trying to get everybody going. But
you can see the lack of coaching in the team, and you're not surprised when you hear it all comes out later on the poor training and the lack of professionalism. But Tolly's covering a lot of ground here.
Yeah, honest, very honest. He's been in this game. Low as well. It's the young fit ones, the ones that stand out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's be honest about it. It's the ones who've been running a bit and putting a bit of effort in, which is a concern, isn't it? Because you'd want your big pros to be the ones that stand out. Obviously, Jemison goes on to have a bit of a massive influence in the game here, but outside of his goal, and probably the other goals he's going on to get, he's not been massively brilliant, has he?
No, he hasn't been given a lot of service.
No, I guess it's the same as last game, isn't it? Maybe we do need to watch one more of the games from this era when they actually win convincingly, but...
This midfielder has dominated the game since he's come on, hasn't he? He's been driving forth in midfield. Overlap.
Thompson's gone.
It's a good cross. Bury are good, aren't they? They're a well-organised team.
Yeah, again, you can see where they're on the top of the season. Yeah. They won't be doing that next year. The Phoenix Club will start, won't it? And they'll start down again.
Yeah, I'm going to go and watch a few of those games. I'm going to go see. I doubt I'll get to the first one, but I definitely plan to go and watch a few of those games as they come back. They've still got some issues. There was a few rumours that they were getting potentially closer to maybe trying to sort out the financial mess, but luckily the local council has put some kind of covenant on the ground, so it can't be used. Yes, but. Yeah, it's an absolute travesty that's happened to this club, and it's just for me it puts it into perspective. It just reminds you that the team we're playing now doesn't exist. It hasn't been relegated, or like Wrexham gone to a conference for years. It doesn't exist.
No.
And it's a club that we've played so many times, and in the last 20 years, this century, it's been one of the most dominant teams in terms of key moments and games. For them not to exist anymore is really poor. And I feel for their fans. Every Saturday getting a reminder every week that your team doesn't exist anymore.
I've got a feeling we scored from this, Ollie. I think
Gemmo wants it.
See, I've not watched any of this back, but I think from my memory we might score now. It'd be a shame to lose Gigg Lane. That's my feeling about it. If they eventually all fold and they don't even get to play there anymore. It's such a traditional stadium, and again, a stadium for us that is really synonymous with an amazing time in that very playoff game. It'd be really sad to see it get knocked down and whatever, build houses on it or not. But it is a real shame what's happened to them. I went to the very first AFC Wimbledon game we talked about before. So if you go to the Bury one, that'd be quite nice as well. But this looks.
Here we go. Nigel Jemison. There's a lot of people who want this, but Gemmo wants it. He's taking control.
Tommy's not taking it, are he?
No, he's not. Here we go.
Jemson's
lining it up.
Atkins is marshalling him. The double move.
Oh,
that's lovely.
Top corner. That's a
really good free kick.
Really good free kick.
Class. Bit of class, that. First bit of class we've had in the team, I think, today.
Yeah.
Oh, big hug off his mate. Well, now we're going, Ollie. Gemmo feeling it. He's feeling it. He wants to get involved.
73 minutes, it's 4-2.
Big thumbs up to Ratcliffe there. Oh, he's getting the crowd going. Jemison. Oh dear. So he's an hat-trick now. This is prime Jemison. He wants it. Oh, look at this. Oh, the shape. Who's in for Luca? Oh.
You can hear the
game on here, Ollie.
now.
Yeah, they're really loud, aren't they? And 4 on the cycle. So 15 minutes and 2 behind. You couldn't have seen that when we went 4 down, could you? Completely out of the game. And we still haven't made any real attacking substitutes yet, have we? Come on, Shrewsbury. Yeah, that was me on the day as well. Now, Drysdale did have a long throw. I'm almost certain.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
good throw. Can't beat the man again. Redmile.
Oh, no, it's Redmile. Well, there's
there we go, Gemmo.
Look at the town fans. Someone's going mental. Come on.
At this point, you've got to think that the comeback could be on.
Yes.
74 minutes, 75 minutes now, 4-3, and the tide of the game is completely swung because so 10 minutes into the
3.
10 minutes into the
3.
that's embarrassing. That is really embarrassing.
He loved an embarrassing celebration. He was
Yeah.
getting loads of clog off the Bury fans, wasn't he, to be
Yeah.
fair? And what's he doing, ref? How long? Oh, it's good to see. Look at that. Bit of communication. So I can get 4 goals here. He's blowing. He's blowing.
Yeah, he is blowing. It's good to see. But yeah, if you're a Bury fan, you'd be a bit worried at this point.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, these last 2 goals.
Because the
have been so
game
quick.
was... Because they were all over us for the first 10 minutes of the second half. They were absolutely all over us. They just walked through and scored goals very easily. But now they're kind of back in it. Which of the goals do you think was the best?
The free kick.
Yeah.
That was a class free kick, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
You'd
good.
say that was a good free kick still in this day and age. That last goal was a good sniffer's goal. I suppose the other 2 were really, but that free kick was really good. Probably the goal of the game, I would say that.
Yeah, I'd say so. Oh my... Oh, that's...
So 15 to go. So this is the bit. This is the other reason I wanted to watch this back now, because the mind can play tricks on you, can't it? As you watch games of football, especially when you've watched, probably watched close to 1,000 games of football, live and Shrewsbury. But my memory serves me right that we had a really good chance to draw this game 4-4, which would have been probably one of the most historic results in the history of the club, because I don't think we've ever come back from being 4-0 down to get anything. So it would have been miraculous. Now, I'm intrigued to see quite how the rest of this game plays out, because I say I've not watched this back since the day, and is my mind playing tricks on me, or did we have a good chance to go 4-4 in this game? So we'll see how it goes. I'm almost certain Bury had no chances as well, so I'm not saying it was one-way traffic, but what a turnaround.
Interesting.
10-minute hat-trick.
Interesting. We played them...
Sorry, go on.
Obviously, we played them at home this season. Can you remember the score?
Bury at home this season?
No, in the season we're watching now. So we played them at home on Boxing Day, and we lost 4-1. So this season, Bury scored 8 against us.
Well, they had a good season, as I keep saying. So I suppose it's fair enough, isn't it? It's not the greatest, to be fair. I'm just looking at some stats here, Ollie. You can commentate for a minute, but I was going to look up hat tricks because I was going to look at the time that we took that got recorded for this.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how many other players have scored hat tricks since this game. But Shrewsbury are all over them here.
I can tell you.
Shrewsbury all over them. You can hear the crowd really going for it, and they're getting the ball forward, and you feel like we could get something from this.
This is 2002, Ollie, right? Nigel Jensen's hat trick against Bury, right? How many hat tricks do you think have been scored in the, whatever it is, 18 years since then?
I don't know, not many, maybe 6, isn't it?
13.
Yeah, it's quite a few, that's more than I expected.
Yeah.
Holt got a few, I guess.
Yeah, low against Bury later that season. Rogers got 2 in the conference season. Andy Cook got 2 against Stockport in the same season in 2006-07. Holt got 1. Jake Robinson got 1. Mark Wright. Lion Lanesworth got 1 at Lincoln, which is quite well remembered. Tommy Eves got his hat-trick that helped save us that one season. Akprak Pro got that 1 against Bury when we were 5-0. And then Faye got 2. So yeah, 13 hat-tricks since this day.
Did he get a hat-trick against Bradford, Faye?
He did, in a 4-3 loss. And, interestingly, here's a stat for you. Faye scored a hat-trick in a 4-3 loss. The previous time that happened was this game, 18 years ago, when we lost 4-3 in a game a player scored a hat-trick. And in fact, out of all the hat-tricks that have been scored for football club, it's only ever happened 3 times. There's some stats. And the other time it happened, the third one was Lee Steele in 1997 against Brentford, where he scored a hat-trick, but we lost 5-3.
It's interesting. 3 good strikers in our history.
Yeah, pretty good to be fair. It's supposed to be gutting to score a hat-trick on the losing side.
That was close. That's a dangerous place to do a diving tackle like that.
The reason I looked at the hat-trick stats wasn't for that, though, Ollie. It was about the speed. So that hat-trick got recorded as an 8-minute hat-trick, which is unbelievable, really.
That was fast.
One of the quickest hat-tricks we've had in our history.
Considering this season we've had 90 minutes, we've even had a shot on target.
Yeah, the quickest one since then was one that Ainsworth scored against Lincoln, and we scored it in 13 minutes.
Did you go to that game?
No.
I did. It was brilliant. My little brother was at Lincoln Uni, so I remember going up to see him. And Ainsworth was superb that day, and we absolutely annihilated them. It was a really good performance. And when you just have, cause it was a Tuesday night game, so I remember seeing like Sam Morris and stuff in a pub before. But when there's only a small bunch of fans and it just seems that little bit special.
Yeah.
It was a good day.
No, I did. I missed that one, unfortunately. You can see down the goal.
No busy yet.
No busy still. People were banging on the gates to get back in now. That was definitely happening. I remember people talking about it on the day. But anyway, back to the hat-tricks before I give up on hat-trick stats. Yes, which is the quickest hat-trick ever scored in our history.
In terms of minutes or in terms of goals scored?
Yes.
Oh, I've no idea, mate. No idea.
Yeah, Gary Shaw, December 1990 against Bradford City, Division 3, we won 4-2, and he scored a hat-trick on 53, 52, 53 and 54, so 4-minute hat-trick.
Pretty fast.
Technically a 2-minute hat-trick, sorry. Yeah. But the good news about that is, for anyone watching this game and is involved, like I'm watching old games back, we may well have found a tape of the whole game, that quickest hat-trick we've ever scored.
Oh, here we go. And Bags.
Gemmo. It was Rogers that kicked off there. Gemmo's trying to calm it down, isn't he? Off.
There we go. He's in trouble. He's in trouble.
The thing is, Gemmo with all the experience, referees knew who he was, do you know what I mean? And they, wonder whether it had that little bit of an influence.
Elbow.
Oh, we elbowed him. I'm happy. Luke used to throw his collar up, didn't he, as well? I didn't like that. They were quite pikey, I always thought, especially in our shirts that were too big.
It's just ridiculous. It's almost down to his wrist.
This is the reason I think I've got a red shirt from this season, and it still fits me. So
I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to refrain from comment.
It's a Dave Edwards shirt, so it was one of the ones he must have had when he was on a bench or some point. But yeah, it's literally still fits me. So it must have been huge on Dave Edwards when he was like 18 or whatever.
Very fans are not happy.
We've not had that big chance I thought we had yet. 9 minutes to go. No, it's if the clock's right this off. It might not be. Big Andy Thompson throw again. Town fans are loving it, can you hear it? We were into this, I remember. I felt like it was going to happen. Like, everyone's standing up. See? Awesome. I'm willingness to score here, Ollie.
Tries down the wrong side there. Yeah.
Linesman put his flag up for advantage, and that was good. Foul. Got him late, didn't he?
Yeah, free kick.
But as I say, that's the reason why I wanted to watch this back as well, is that you just don't see many hat-tricks from Shrewsbury Town players.
No.
13 in 18 years is less than one a season. Which is pretty awful, isn't it, really?
I don't know, it's quite special, a hat-trick, I always think.
It is, that's why I say.
But it's not, that hat-tricks aren't always, some countries, I think it might be Germany, they don't really see hat-tricks as anything special unless you get the hat-trick in terms of left foot, right foot and header. I think it's quite harsh. I always think there's always a good image, I think, when you see a striker walk off the pitch or being interviewed after the game with the ball.
Jimbo's first goal on this was a header, wasn't it? I've already literally forgotten. I can't remember now. No, it wasn't. He slid in. Yeah. Oh, no, he didn't get a header, did he? He got one. Yeah, probably right foot.
All right-footed,
But you say, celebrate them. The last 3 hat-tricks we scored would have all been like in injury time. So, they were close to not happening. So, if those 3 had been discounted, we would have had even less. But
a lot of fouls now.
Yeah, it's gone bitty, hasn't it? They've started to break it up a little bit.
Bit of few elbows and stuff flying around.
Oh dear. Man down, 11. Is it Tolly? I got caught there?
No. Isn't Tolly number 4? Or was he 17? None of the players seem very concerned that their mates on the game. What is that kit? Who made that kit? Can't make it. Who made that?
It's got a big tick on it, hasn't it? TC something? No, Bury. It was some sort of. Oh, we better not slander Bury Football Club on the official account. But yeah, it was probably some interesting deal.
But you forget. I forgot that Nationwide sponsored the league.
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't see any ITV digital boards around the thing because it folded already by this point. I think it might have done already because we were talking about it at the start of last season, weren't we? And I think it had gone by the wayside now. So that was one of the things that prompted Bury's big problems, wasn't it? The ITV digital thing.
It ceased operations before the season started in June 2002.
Yeah, there you go. It was only a 1-season thing, wasn't it? So it was supposed to be a 3-year deal, wasn't it? So all the clubs budgeted for having 3 years worth of money, and it suddenly just all disappeared.
Yeah, you had those silly adverts, didn't you, with Johnny Vegas and the monkey?
Yes. Yeah. Early days of digital TV. Jeez. Skybox. Now it's all Netflix and the internet, Ollie. All times have changed. Times have changed. Oh man. Well, maybe we didn't have that chance I was talking about. Maybe that was as good as it got. I don't know. We'll have to watch this all the way through again. I'll be quite annoyed if we have a really, really good chance that we missed watching this now. Even 18 years later, it will niggle me again, and I'll have to have a good sit down and not think about it. But yeah, I hope we do, just for the sake of a bit of an interesting
bit of action. It's gone a very scrappy game. Last 10 minutes has been quite scrappy, hasn't it?
Not been great.
Yeah.
They've got control of it and just tried to
through fouls really, and just shows you like how quickly goals can be scored. How 10 minutes of football can just pass you by.
Yeah, it's really quick when you're scoring 3 goals in 10 minutes, and not so quick when you're struggling to watch an attritional, broken up bit of game, isn't it? They still look like they believe Tony.
Yeah, they're trying
to get involved. Drysdale's been class. I know Gemma scored a hat-trick, but I would definitely not pick Jensen as man of the match in this game. How weird is that? Like, he scored 3 good goals, but his overall, I don't know, his overall performance level has not been the best. Maybe that's harsh. It was a good hat-trick. What do I know? Yeah, but the younger lads have impressed me. Rodgers has drifted out of this game a bit, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Do you not think?
He has, yeah.
It's a shame. We'll have to try and find one of the games that Rodgers scored a hat-trick in. I think we've got, again, of all the footage that we found, the club have got, we found the Tamworth game in the conference season where Rodgers got a hat-trick really quickly. So I would quite like to watch that one back at some point. But I think that's got commentary with it, so they may not need our services for that one, are they? No. Maybe no one will need our services after a quick lead.
We'll see what views we get on YouTube.
Who cares? I'd rather watch a couple of blokes talking about the football and reminiscing than just listen to the noise of a crowd and nothing again. Especially with that one where there was not even really any crowd noise that they put out. So we're trying to do something, but feel free to tell the football club what you think about it. We'll take it on board and we'll go back to doing podcasts.
Yeah. So in terms of podcasts, actually, we've got a few obviously in the pipeline. Currently working on the agenda for a few games coming up. Just keeps us occupied while we're all in lockdown. So yeah, the next one is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be Oxford, which will be out the day after this has been aired, actually. So yeah, we're going to 2012, so Matty Richards, Mark Wright, Ian Sharps, James Collins, Marvin Morgan, some good names there.
Graham Turner and the unbeaten at home season, and the whole thing being on the line until late on. Oh, I think that's good.
Yeah, good opportunity from the corner. Sloppy at the back again.
Dunbavin just went walkabout then. He got absolutely nowhere near it. But yeah, that Matt Richards game's class, and of course doing that one. And yeah, there's a few other cool things that the football club have got coming out soon. I think they've got the 3-3 game with Ipswich and a few other bits and pieces. I can't believe we haven't had one chance after Champions League.
No,
this is frustrating.
It's where your mind's playing tricks on you.
You don't. Yeah, exactly. You kind of have this. Well, maybe this is it.
There we go. Rodgers in. Good turn.
Oh no, that was definitely not something I'd remember.
That was a deflection, wasn't it?
Damn it.
All fans
See the
down
fans behind, all hands on heads. They must have that. Maybe that was it. Maybe that was what it looked way better from behind the goal. Like he could have killed it in. I'm quite disappointed there's not been a bit more of the crowd to see if I could pick myself out.
Yeah, it's always fun. That was one good thing about the Dagenham Redbridge game you could see, but
yeah.
I also think we also had this memory of Ian Dunbavin's ball over the top. Nah, this is the old offside rule. So Rodgers there was interfering with play in the old rule, so he's offside. Where obviously in the modern offside, Jensen would have been fine there.
It was low, wasn't it?
Oh, low. Sorry. Yeah.
I agree with you. It didn't look offside, did it?
Here we go. Here we go. Moss coming on.
Oh, another Welsh under 21.
Another. So in the last game for the commentary, we had a left back. A central defender playing left wing, and now we've got Moss coming on.
For Woe?
Yeah.
I think we're going to push up. So we're playing something different here. We'll have to see what we do. It doesn't seem like the most attacking substitution, taking a winger off for Darren Moss.
I think it's just lack of options, isn't it?
Who else was on the bench? I can't remember now.
I did tell you. You weren't listening.
2 young lads, wasn't it? Yeah. There's 2 young lads and Van Blurk.
Yeah. So Van Blurk was on the bench. So was Lee Kendall and Ian Stevens.
Yeah, maybe you could have put 3 up, I suppose, but So this was Ian Stevens' ill-fated second time at the football club, wasn't it? Well, you always say no, go back, don't you, Ollie? But Stevens didn't have much of a season on the return after his good time he had with us previously. So maybe you're right, Ollie. Maybe you do never go back. I think you might be right. think anyone who's ever come back to us a second time has been good. Other than Grimmer.
Yeah, Grimmer came back a few times. Eves.
No. He was barely. He was alright the first time. Yeah. He was atrocious the second time. But yeah, we don't tend to get players coming back often, do we?
You talk about Ian Stevens. He had a decent career. He got nearly to 500 games. You never guess where he was born, though.
Guernsey, wasn't it? Or
Malta.
Jersey? Oh, Malta. I bloody knew that. Do you know what? The football club have roped us into doing some sort of quiz, haven't they, this week?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you now, I'm awful at remembering things, and I know the answers when you tell me, and I definitely knew it in my brain, but the fact of extracting that information is poor, Ollie. So we're supposed to be on a team together. I'm almost certain we're going to get hammered because I can't remember anything accurately. So, yeah. Malta.
Another player that played for both Bury and Shrewsbury as well.
And I hope everybody... I was going to say something inappropriate again, so I'll stop myself. God, I could never do a radio commentary, Ollie. I would talk crap all the time, and almost
you
certainly
do
get
talk crap all the time.
Well, yeah, but people quite like it on the podcast, especially when we're angry. So, it kind of works in this format.
Frustrating last 20 minutes or so, isn't it? We've not been able to. We haven't been able to get a hold of the ball all game. It's definitely been a game that's been dominated by mistakes by both teams, really. The goals that you'd say that we conceded, they, from a Bury perspective, they would be saying they were quite sloppy goals.
Oh, in a corner. That's been this time. Bury probably still deserved to win this game.
Oh, definitely.
I think. Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't score the penalty that they had, and they created more chances. And apart from the goals we scored, we haven't created anything, have we?
No. Again, slight pattern of the 2 games we watched in the last few weeks. Well, 3 games we watched in the last few weeks, haven't we? We're not had much of the attacking impetus.
No.
But
we're in extra time now. Oh, that's a bit messy.
We'll pick some games.
Kick. 90 minutes. How long can they be played on?
No, probably about another 15 with this clock. A few people are starting to leave in the corner there. I say the weather looked nice. It was a nice day on the bank holiday. The guy waving bye to his mate there. I don't know why people leave the football early.
No.
It's not, it's not hard to get over from Bury, is it? To be honest, if you live in Bury, it's not the biggest place. It's like Shrewsbury, and there was not a car park there. I can remember. There was a little bit of car park, wasn't there? But I don't know. I always find it odd, especially if we win a 4-3. You'd be on the edge of your seat, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't watching this last 10 minutes, but you'd be possibly a little bit worried still. Just takes a second to get the right little movement. I'm annoyed we never had that good chance.
Well, you've made it up, haven't you? Maybe it's just that Rogers. Must have been that Rogers chance.
Made it up.
Must have been that Rogers chance.
Yeah, I think it was that. Yeah, I think it was. It wasn't quite as clear cut as I thought. Come on, pump it up there. Get everybody up. We must have to throw everybody forward. The problem with that is you couldn't throw Matt Redmore forward. He was just too slow getting back, wasn't he? He was like a bloody anchor on the team. Now everybody's up there now. Everyone in.
Poor ball again.
Got to win it.
Playing 3 at the back here, aren't we?
Problems. Yeah.
Ooh! Whoa! My God, that was something.
Oh, he two-footed him as well.
That was something of a tackle. That was.
He rolled over the ball.
And the referee was quite close to that. Played off.
It shows you the rules are so different. Can you imagine seeing a Premiership player do that and roll over the top of the ball? People would be going mental. Graham Souness would lose his mind. Be calling for a GBH charge or something like that. Oh, Bennett. Come on, 90. Get in.
He's not rushing, is he? He's going to lob it into Redmile. Try and find Redmile. That's what he's waiting for.
Yeah, everybody stand up.
Flick on from Redmile.
Almost.
No. That was a poor effort.
He doesn't look very sprightly. A good 95 in his legs already. Yeah, we're definitely going through at the back now.
Yeah.
Look at that guy in the background, he's so angry again, aren't they? That was like Tyrone Marshall on the front seat there. He was now a news report from Manchester City. I'd be interested to know if that was him. I might send him a clip out here. It's a little bit like him. I'm buggered actually if I
can't be long left now, can we? No. So who's your man of the match, Glyn, from a Shrewsbury perspective?
Well, I think I'll stick with the guy that I think was pretty consistently decent throughout this whole game, other than maybe the 3rd goal, which was Drysdale. I thought he was alright.
Yeah, Drysdale did alright. Gemma, you've got it's a bit harsh not to give him man of the match for his 3 goals. But yeah, Drysdale were definitely number 2 in the top 3. And other than that, I don't know, Low maybe? That is a poor ball.
That's a good chance.
Yeah, good
it's
ball,
hard, isn't it, to
from
say anyone
low
else.
there.
Oh, there's all the fans ready to go. Get it in there. They're not going. Worried. Shrewsbury. You can hear the 10 fans. One last go. Don't shoot.
There we go.
What a waste. What a waste.
Was it offside?
We
Or
were
was
holding
it,
our breath there, Ollie. Such an exciting moment.
was that a foul or offside? Must have been a
It was
foul.
handball, wasn't it, I think? You could hear the fans shout handball. Gutted. A lot of people wearing white. I don't wear white very often, so that's probably not me. Yeah, I think that might be it, Ollie. But I've got a feeling, because there's a few town fans starting to walk off now.
There's low up front now.
Yeah. They did used to play as a 3.
Yeah.
Oh, he's giving low. He's even found it's low for getting on the.
I think it was a handball or something.
Yeah, he used to play at 3, didn't they? Jensen, Rogers, and Lowe quite a lot. Even in the conference season, Lowe played up front in the 3 times, didn't he? With Cram or Barbie, or whatever he was playing. Not Cram, McMenamin, wasn't it?
We signed a lot of players in that conference season.
I can't remember now. Or maybe it was all 3 of them in that season. I don't remember. No, it was Colin Cram and Derby, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, that's a whole other season we're going to have to cover one day, Ollie.
See how long the lockdown
We've already done a
lasts.
special on that. Yeah.
Oh, come on, he's pushing forward there.
Go on.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was it. Oh, sorry.
It's a lot of extra time again in this one.
Yeah. They've stopped the clock again, so God knows. A lot of whistling now, Ollie. It has to be right near the end. So we should just say, if you've enjoyed these mad ramblings, you should check out this podcast if you know listened before. We do cover all the games when they actually happen, when football restarts and everything going on at the meadow. So we'll get a little plug in, because we did a plug last time, Ollie, but it got cut off, didn't it? So
Ian took it out.
we'll go for it again. No, we talked too late and the footage just stopped, so it was our own fault. Yeah, bit of
Playing for time now.
Dig it in. No. It's gone on ages.
I know. Put us out of the misery.
That's it.
There we go.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Matt Redmore's kicking off. No.
Jack Terry. I don't think Dunfield would beat Redmar in a fight.
He looked like he was going to push him, and then he thought, oh no, this bloke's massive. What's going on? The whistle's blowing. I don't think we get the ball back out of the very fans. We stop the clock. Maybe we can Terry Dunfield for pushing Matt Redmore really innocently. That would be crazy.
He is.
He is, I think. What?
He didn't do anything for Drysdale with his 2-footed lunge, but he likes the petty stuff, doesn't he? And Terry Dunfield's giving him some feedback.
That's so harsh.
It is harsh.
Oh man, poor Terry. He didn't deserve that. He didn't even move for Redmore. Got a little gnat on him. Oh, bless this season. There's a lot of things you could talk about. Jeez Louise. It was a horrendous one. Bob Emberton. Not Chelsea so much. Oh, hello. Panic. We just need to get it down and hoof it.
Yeah, there we go.
Just hoof it generally. That wasn't the ball. I'm doing that to win that.
There we go.
Massive cheers from Barry. Gutted.
One of those classic games where you kind of like, that's the hope that kills you.
It is. And it's another one in the pocket, Ollie. Another one in the bank. Another bit of commentary. So yeah, hopefully it gave people a bit of context as to what was going on during this game and a bit of a walk down memory lane of his team in this season of seasons. So if the club want us back, we're available for work.
So thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed. And we'll be back again soon. 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 We'll be back again